Do you know how good it feels to know that I'm not alone in my mental health journey? I've found this community of ADHDers and introverts and anxious people and depressed people. Quite the group I'm naming right now, right? We're really fun at parties.
Hey there, Vibers. Welcome to the Vibe with Kai podcast, where we keep it real, we keep it relatable, and we keep it a little bit funny as we dive into all things mental health, ADHD, and introversion. My name is Kai. I'm your host, and each week we're going to tackle life struggles with honesty, humor, and a whole lot of heart. So whether you're here for practical advice or a little validation or just a laugh about what life is like as an adult in today's world, listen, you are in the right place. We are not about toxic positivity here. We are all about being genuine to each other and to ourselves. And we're talking about real things. And we want to encourage each other and remind you that you are not alone. With that said, my friends, sit back, relax, and let's vibe through this together and enjoy today's episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast.
Welcome, my friends, to the Vibe with Kai podcast. It's your boy, Kai. I'm going into this episode today with no notes. I don't have any. In fact, I can look right at the camera. I don't have to look at the screen. I'm going to look at the camera today because I'm going in with no notes. I'm coming in just me, my vocal cords, and my heart. Because I went to go try to write notes for this episode, but I just couldn't. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to push the record button and I'm just going to talk from the heart. So who knows where this episode is going to go today? No idea. This episode is about TikTok. I'm recording this right now on Tuesday, January 14th. As of now, the app is supposed to be banned on the 19th. Between the recording of this episode and that point, who knows what's going to happen. So I'm not going to spend this podcast episode talking about things that I can't control. I'm not going to talk about the variety of things that could happen or anything like that. I am going to talk about my experience and how it's such a conflicting thing that I feel. Probably one of the number one questions that I've gotten the last couple of weeks from people is, well, what are you going to do when TikTok is banned? And I kindly remind people, I'm not a TikToker. I'm an Instagrammer. I'm a Facebooker. I just happen to post some of my content on to TikTok. But TikTok is what made those other platforms possible. I was one of those content creators that had a very, very, very small platform before COVID. And then COVID hit and then everything took off. And now on TikTok, I sit at 1 million followers, which is insane. I remember when I first got my first 1,000 followers. I hate calling people followers because it makes it sound culty. So I just call them audience. But there's 1 million people that are in my audience. And it's the most surreal feeling that I've ever had in my life. My TikTok journey has been full of so many highs and so many lows. It has helped me realize so much about myself. And no matter what happens to this app, once this is all said and done, I will truly always be grateful for what it has done to help me be the person that you see today. There will always be other social media platforms, so I'm not concerned about that. I know a lot of people are going over to Red Note, which is hilarious. So it's like one of those if you know you know things. Why that's really funny. I'm not going to get to the politics side of this, but that's really funny. I am not going to be going over to any other social media platform that I'm not already on. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, X, and then I have my podcast, my website, my blog. I have and my email list and my guidebook that's for sale. I have so many non social media things that are happening in my life that it would be not the greatest choice for me right now to take on another platform and start from scratch. So a lot of people have been asking me, are you going to go over to RedNote? And I respectfully say no. And it has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with people. It honestly, it's just a choice that I made for myself because I know my limit from a mental health standpoint. I know my limit from a time standpoint. I'm right now, as we speak, in the middle of the casting process for a musical that I'm directing. I'm directing West Side Story at the Broadway Theater of Pittman. Literally had 2 days, 2 full days worth of auditions this past weekend. And right out a couple weeks from now, actually a month from now, are the auditions for the other show that I'm directing this year, Sister Act the musical at the Ritz Theater in South Jersey. I have so much going on, and that's not even counting my 9 to 5 job that I have every day, right? So I'm not going to be migrating to a new platform. I'm just going to continue to work with the platforms that I do have, and if TikTok happens to be here, then I will continue to post. If it's not, then I won't post. Um, with that said, I'm thankful to TikTok for a variety of reasons. Number one, I'll talk from a personal standpoint, and then I'll go more broad stroke. Number one, it has introduced me to so many incredible people in my life, people that I would not have met otherwise. I'm talking like my best friends, Hops, Jazzy. If it wasn't for TikTok, I wouldn't have them, and I do because of TikTok. In fact, this upcoming weekend, I'll be in Arizona celebrating Jazzy's birthday as we find out the fate of TikTok, which is weirdly ironic that we'll be together because we live all over the country. Like I obviously live on the East Coast, Jazzy and Hops live on the West Coast, and we all live in 3 completely different areas. So we try to get together about 2 or 3 times a year. So this is the first time this year. Last year we went to Disneyland, and we went to, where did we go? Oh no, where did we go? We went to Disney this time last year, and oh gosh, we went somewhere else. Oh, this is gonna bother me. Oh, that's what it was. Wichita. We went to Wichita, Kansas, on purpose last year, so that was a lot of fun. But without TikTok, I wouldn't have them in my life, and like they are quite literally my best friends, and they're my best friends because they helped me through one of the darkest times of my life. There was a point in this was a couple years ago, 2023. I didn't want to be here anymore. I had just exited a relationship that was not good, and everything that happened afterwards was not good. And I was probably at my lowest. And Hobbs and Jazzy were there for me. They didn't need to be. They could have easily just called it quits, but they were there for me. and that means more to me than they'll ever know. This app has Another reason why I'm thankful for this app. It's because I've been able to meet with other people that have a similar story as me, other people that have to learn how to manage their ADHD, their depression, anxiety, um, OCD. They all have to. They were all these people that were diagnosed with these things later in life, and are just now starting to learn how to process this. Do you know how good it feels to know that I'm not alone in my mental health journey? I've found this community of ADHDers and introverts and anxious people and depressed people. Quite the group I'm naming right now, right? We're really fun at parties. Um, but like I found like a group that gets me, just a group of people all over the world that just get me and they support me and I support them. I'm legit whenever I'm making content on any platform, I'm never pouring from an empty cup because they're there providing me a platform to just be me and they accept me. And that's the best feeling ever. So I'm very thankful for them. Another reason why I'm thankful for this platform for me is because it's introduced me to mental health professionals from all over the world, people that I have interviewed here on this podcast. This podcast has been going, this is year number 5. 5 years I've been doing this podcast. Can you believe that? Jesus. 5 years I've been doing this podcast. Um, I've gotten the chance to interview so many people. I just finished an interview that is going to be coming out next week with Tracy Neal, who is this another adult that was diagnosed with ADHD later in life, and she has an incredible heartfelt story that I can't wait for y'all to see. That comes out next week. But I've met all of these incredible professionals and creators and people that spend their time and use their talent and their knowledge and their insight to help other people. It is the most inspiring thing in the world. It is so beautiful. Again, this is because of TikTok. There's a lot of bad out there when it comes to TikTok. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of fear. But when you find yourself on the side of TikTok that is light, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. Man, some of these people are just so funny, so talented, so kind, so giving. Do you know how many lives have been changed because a person made a TikTok video and like it changed their life? So I can't tell you how many content creator friends of mine make a living off of TikTok, and they were able to pay off their student loans, and they were able to, take care of their families and take care of their friends and change their life for the better. I think sometimes when people talk about TikTok, they get caught up in the especially if you're not on TikTok. I think sometimes people get caught up in the stereotype of TikTok, like, oh, it's all a bunch of dancing people and cat videos. And I mean, it is at times, but like if you're on that side of TikTok, because I'm on the cat side of TikTok, and I have no shame in that, by the way. But there's also this like, there's so many like niches and so many very interesting things. It is so deep, and you end up learning so much, and you end up finding yourself in this world that you never thought that you would find yourself in. The other, this was last year, summer last year, I found myself on Boat Doc Talk. It doesn't get any more niche. It doesn't get any more specific than that. It is Boat Talk or Boat Doc Talk. It was all about boat docks, but more specifically, it's about people failing to get their boats in and out of the water. That's the side of TikTok that I found myself on for quite some time. and it was hilarious. I mean, I felt bad for the people because they would sometimes lose their car or they would sink their boat because of their failure to successfully get the boat in or out of the water. But I ended up watching like hours of those videos. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Nothing. There's nothing. Oh, I mean, there's a lot. There's nothing. There's a lot. See, that in and of itself should show you how crazy and weird I am. But anyway, broad stroke, why I'm thankful for TikTok. It's made the world smaller. We're now able to communicate our stories and our experiences faster than we've ever had ever. And do you know how reassuring it is to know that like my ADHD struggles are similar to someone's ADHD struggles in Europe, Asia, Africa? Like mental health doesn't discriminate. It's not a regional thing. It's so comforting to know that it's not just me. This ADHD is all over the world. Anxiety all over the world. Depression all over the world. It is all over. And you grow to appreciate people's stories and you end up listening to them. And it's in a way validating and reassuring because you know that like what you're going through, there's somebody else out there somewhere that is like, yeah, me too. I know that feeling. And that's really cool. I don't want it to go. I don't want the app to go. I'm not going to get into the politic side of it because y'all know me. I don't talk politics on my platform. I'm not going to start today. But I don't want it to go. I don't for a variety of reasons. But I don't want it to go. I think that it's a good thing. I think it needs to be fixed. I think that it needs to, you know, I think there's things that need to be adjusted. And I'm not talking from a data standpoint. I'm just talking like as a content creator and a consumer. Like it's flawed. And but it's still like in a way it's still in its infancy. Think of how like for example, think of how long Facebook has been around. Think of how long Instagram has been around. Think of how long YouTube has been around. These have been around for decades. TikTok is 5 years old. Still a baby. I'm just a baby. It's still new. So like I think it has a lot to learn still, and that's a beautiful thing because we get to learn along with it. So no, I don't want it to go, but I also understand that there's so much that's out of my control, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do, just like we all are. You know. I think that's was that everything I wanted to say. I mean, there's more, but like, again, I went into this episode with no notes. I'm just gonna speak from the heart, and I think those are the main things that I wanted to get across. Um, I'm not gonna say a goodbye. I'm not gonna like make a goodbye video or anything like that because like, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. Like, I'm that introvert at a party that just leaves. Like, I'm not gonna say goodbye to everybody. I'm just gonna bounce. For TikTok, it's gonna be the same thing. I'm just telling you now. Like if it does end up going, like you're not gonna see a goodbye video from me. I'm just gonna post my normal content up until the last day, and then voila. Again, because I'm an Instagrammer, I'm a Facebooker. I just happen to post some of my stuff on TikTok. So to my content creator friends that are very much affected by this, I love you. I pray for you. Please continue to make content. Find a safe space for you to make content because the people need you. People want to see you. And what you do is a beautiful, artistic, needed thing because you are part of other people's stories now. You make their life a little bit better, even if it's a dumb, silly 15-second video about cheese. You make people's lives better. So to my content creator friends, continue to find a safe space to make content because we need it. We need your content. We need your laughs. We need your stories. We need we need your tears. We need your energy. Find a safe space and please keep making content because you're going to help more people than you realize. Okay. All right. I think that's it. I think. Uh who knows? This time next week, maybe you'll still be around, maybe it won't be. Guess we'll find out.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found a little bit of comfort in today's episode, and I hope that you're walking away with a little bit of encouragement, and I hope that you laughed a little bit along the way. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a review. Let me know what you thought of the episode. I really want to hear your voice. I want to hear your story. I want to hear all about your journey. Let's keep the conversation going. Make sure you follow me on all of your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be, at The Vibe with Kai for more tips, more laughs, and more real talk. Remember, my friends, you are not alone on this journey. We are in this together. And until next time, stay kind to yourself, embrace the journey, and keep vibing. I'll catch you next time. Much love. Good vibes.